internationally acclaimed. He's a teacher of joyful and conscious living. I think the name itself, you all know it's very important for all of us to know about this. He had an MBA from XLRI Jamshedpur and was working in the corporate sector, after which he's done something which most of us can only dream of or imagine of. He lived as a forest meditation monk for 6 years. That is a very big thing. अपनी corporate life छोड़ के, practical life छोड़ के, to just follow your heart and live as a forest monk. Hats off to you, sir. Now he shares his learnings with the entire world, with organizations, with people. He is internationally acclaimed, as I said earlier. He's merging his academic and corporate experience with timeless spiritual insights, which, of course, he'll share with us some of it today in the time that we have. And he wasn't content with just the intellectual understanding. So, from the age of 16, he has been practicing deep meditation, which also gives a lot of answers to a lot of questions of life. All right. So he specializes in facilitating profound shifts in awareness for people to release their limitations, to awaken their potential, to live a happy and balanced life. So let's hear it from him. Thank you.
All right, so it's a joy to be here with all of you. My name is Nitya Shanti, just call me Nitya. And today's session is not so much about me, it's about each one of you and about your experience. I want this to be an experiential session, not just an intellectual session. And I want this session to not only expand your mind, but to open your heart. So my aim is to touch your heart. And let's see if I can do that.
Voice thoda loud
You can't hear me? Let's see if you can increase the volume.
Mic
Is
thoda
that-
loud कीजिए ना, loud.
मैं नहीं कर सकता, वो लोग करें। अब सुनाई दे रहा है? अब ठीक है? हाँ, ठीक है। So I want you to take a moment to center yourself. Just maybe close your eyes if you like. And take a nice deep breath. Adjust your body posture so it's nice and comfortable. And just allow yourself to be present at this moment. The word present has two meanings. It means now and also means gift. The now is a gift. And just come into a place of accepting yourself just the way you are and accepting this moment just the way it is. And think back of a time in your life when you really enjoyed learning. Really enjoyed learning. Could be anything. And how did that feel? Maybe it was learning a sport, maybe it was learning a musical instrument, maybe it was learning some subject. You really enjoyed it. So go back to that time, just notice how it felt, and enter that optimal learning state right now. And notice what subtle shifts happen in your thinking, in your feeling, and in your being as you access a state of optimal learning. And for the rest of the session, whatever 40 minutes or so we have, no external sound, no walking around of people is going to distract you, is going to disturb you. In fact, every external sound and every other interruption that may or may not happen is going to take you deeper into this process of learning and connecting with yourself. And with this beautiful intention to learn something of value, let's all take a deep breath and release. And let's say together, how wonderful. And you can open your eyes. Beautiful. All right. So, my aim is to share with you a few things that I believe can be of lifelong significance, of deep value for all of you. You know, many years back, my teacher told me that teach other people what you want to learn. So instead of trying to be the expert on the subject, you also learn with them. And that's a beautiful attitude. So whatever I want to share with you, I don't pretend to be the expert on it. I definitely am very much a student of it. And it's a journey of learning together. The topic I was originally given for this talk is compassion I am another you. But I like it. I like that it was introduced. Natasha introduced this at the talk on happiness because it actually is a talk on happiness as well. So I'm going to combine both of those elements: compassion and happiness, because compassion is happiness. When you're in a state of compassion, you're in a state of expanded connection. So I want to begin with a little incident, anecdote. So this, by the way, this session is going to be about stories, true stories. It's going to be about some experiences I guide you through, and it's going to be about reflection. So those are the three main elements of the session. So a few weeks back, I was teaching in Bangalore, and it was a 2-day session on a very interesting topic, blessings. So for 2 days, we just practiced blessings. And just yesterday, someone was asking, Nitya, how do you practice blessing? Is that something you can practice? So I said, when someone comes and touches your feet, in India, we just kind of, bless you, be happy with you. So for a micro moment, you access the state of blessing. It felt good. Now, can you access that more intentionally and over a longer period of time? So that's what we did for 2 days. We just were in a state of blessings. On the first day, this lady, and I'm not going to reveal her name just for privacy, and she said that, Nitya, actually, I'm physically here, but I'm not mentally and emotionally here. I said, what happened? She said, actually, I almost didn't come. A very close friend of mine has advanced cancer, and my mind is constantly with him. And even today, he's in a lot of pain. And he called me and says, can you come? And so my mind is actually not very much here. My mind is actually with him. So one of the ideas of blessings is you don't wait for a future time. You bless right away. So we okay, let's stop. This is fine. Let's stop for a moment. And everybody in the room, for a couple of minutes, we close our eyes. And we just radiated loving wishes and blessings for her friend who's not been well. I taught her a simple method called Tonglen. Tonglen is a practice from the Tibetan tradition. It's a very unique practice. In Tonglen practice, you're breathing in the suffering of others and you're breathing out relief. Normally, when we do some kind of simple meditation, you're breathing in health and happiness and you're breathing out all your worries. This is the opposite. You're breathing in the worries of others, problems of others, suffering of others, and you're breathing out relief. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to breathe in the suffering of others? Because in your willingness to feel their pain, a transformation happens. When you close yourself down, that's your business, you take care of it. Whenever we don't allow ourselves to feel the love and compassion for someone else, to that extent, we diminish our own experience of love and compassion. So we are not in our most expanded state. So I taught her this beautiful, gentle practice of breathing in his suffering and breathing out relief. And she sent me a long message after that. She went home and she practiced. And she sent me a long message. I'm going to read out a part of that message on how this impacted her and how it helped her, how this compassion practice helped her deal with her friend's suffering. So just listen to this. So she says, thank you so much, Nitya. My friend's pain management has been miraculously better since Sunday. All my blessings since Saturday have been intensely for him, as I have not been able to see such a cheerful, kind person suffering the way that he has been suffering for the past 45 days. He has been bedridden and writhing in pain or fever, or both, since the 20th of September. Not a single day of relief. I did the practice you taught me of breathing in pain and breathing out relief. And I practiced it from 2:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. That I was with my friend. Because on Sunday, she learned this on Saturday. On Sunday, she left halfway. She said, I want to go and be with him. So she spent half of the day being with him and just practicing this, breathing in the suffering and breathing out relief. And he didn't have a single pain attack since Sunday afternoon. He had low-level pain and fever, but not the kind of pain attacks that he gets. Forget him. Even I felt so energized. I came home on Sunday and sat and did meditation and blessings. And Mayurma, I'm going to teach you something called Mayurma in a bit. And Mayurma for an hour. I have not felt so calm in ages. And yesterday and today, I have been doing the meditation and blessings, all focused intensely on my friend. And he hasn't had a single pain attack since Sunday. Low-grade pain, yes. And for the first time today, in 2 months, he went out around the city getting a haircut, getting a massage, visiting the doctor all by himself. I can't tell you how happy I feel to hear his chirpy voice again on the phone this evening. She sent me this message 4 or 5 days after she'd been practicing. And then today I asked her for an update. And she said that, one second. One second, it's gone to the other side. Yeah, so she says, there have been a lot of challenges in terms of his health in the past few days. But my experience has always been that the intensity of it reduces when I sit in his room or even in my house and I do the Tonglen practice. Tonglen practice is breathing in the pain and breathing out relief. It's made me a calmer person, ready to face any challenges that are thrown at me. I feel detached from it and yet powerfully connected to everything. I cannot thank you enough for showing me the means to do this. It has helped me overcome my stress of helplessness. So this is an actual practice that she did, and which I'd like us all to practice now for a few minutes. It's a Tonglen practice. And some people are really kind of taken aback by this practice. Breathing in the suffering of others, that's a bit too much. I don't think I can handle that. I barely can handle my own suffering. How can I handle somebody else's suffering? So for such people, I would say just breathe in your own suffering, bring it to your heart, and breathe out relief. Have compassion for yourself. So breathing in suffering, breathing out relief. Almost like a teacher in a class is inviting questions. Give me your questions. And when students ask all kinds of confusing questions, the teacher doesn't get confused. In fact, the teacher's ability to teach gets only stronger. So when you breathe in your suffering and you release it, your capacity to face and meet your suffering with awareness gets that much stronger. So we'll breathe in our own suffering, we'll breathe in the suffering of the loved ones that we have, and if you're feeling strong enough, you can breathe in the suffering of other beings as well. This festival is all about recognizing that all beings seek to live in happiness and harmony. And through our lifestyle, can we live in a way that doesn't unnecessarily create harm and damage to other beings, right? So with that intention, for a few minutes, I want you to sit straight and close your eyes. Keep a gentle smile on your face. And whatever's going on in your life, at a physical level, at a relationship level, at a professional level, at any level, financial level, whatever is not in harmony, whatever is not in order, whatever is not in balance, feel that right now. Feel the misalignment of that right now. And right now, go ahead and breathe in this suffering. Bring it to your heart. And breathe out relief. So breathing in all the way down to your belly. And breathing out relief. So breath by breath, just breathe in your own suffering. And breathe out relief. In other words, you're accepting yourself just the way you are. And you're breathing out this unconditional compassion. May I be free from suffering. Let's take 3 more such breaths. Slow, deeper breaths. I breathe in all the pain. And I breathe out complete relief. And you can continue with this, breathing in your own suffering. Or if you're feeling strong enough, think of your loved ones. Maybe think of your family, or think of your close friends. And just check, are they also suffering in some way? Are they also having some challenges in their life? Sometimes it's obvious, and many times it's not even obvious. People keep it to themselves. So now whatever it is, I breathe in that suffering. And I breathe out relief. Just like the teacher is not afraid of questions, we are not afraid of breathing in suffering, because it's instantly going to get transformed into relief. So thinking of these loved ones, these family members, I breathe in all your pain. I breathe out complete relief. And now if you're feeling strong enough, expand even further. All living beings, human, non-human, known and unknown. And if you're not feeling strong enough, that's fine. Continue with yourself or your loved ones. And again, I breathe in all the discomfort, all the pain. And I replace it with blessings, with compassion, karuna. Breathing in pain, breathing out relief. Breathing in pain, breathing out complete relief. And as you're doing this, I'll chant an ancient Buddhist teaching on compassion. Just listen to this. Karuna sahagatena cetasa ekam disam paritva viharati tatha dutiyam tatha tatiyam tatha chatutthang idi uttamado tiriyam sabbati sabba tathaya sabbhavantam lokam Karuna sahagatena cetasa vipulena mahakatena appamanena avirena abhayapachena paritva viharati. And now breathing in light, breathing out light. Breathing in relief, breathing out relief. For yourself, for your loved ones, and for all beings. We all take a deep breath, integrating breath and release. If you like, you can rub your hands together, nice and warm. Rub your palms together, nice and warm, nice and warm, nice and warm, nice and warm. And bring it over your eyes, over your face, and slowly open your eyes. And let's say together, how wonderful. Very nice. So you've learned a very beautiful and powerful practice called Tonglen. And this can be applied in so many areas of your life, right? Starting with yourself, accepting your own suffering, right? My friend Sunat in Pune, he often invites us, when we're sitting together, he often invites us, let's have a listening circle. What's a listening circle? A listening circle is, you will speak and you will not be interrupted. And we decide a time. So for example, 10 minutes. Now you will speak for 10 minutes and no one's going to interrupt you. Keep speaking. And we keep a little timer. When 10 minutes are up, if you're done, if you want to say a few more minutes, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll shift to the next person. And then you will speak without being interrupted. And it's fascinating, something as short as 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, or you'll be amazed, even 3 minutes of uninterrupted time, where you know that if you stop to catch your breath, someone will not jump in. You can just gather your thoughts. It's amazing how deep you go into your own experience. It's so rare in our society to have that kind of uninterrupted time where someone is just listening. It's so healing, actually. So when friends sit together, when family sits together, even for a little while, at the end of the day, for example, if each family member took 3 minutes to share what's going on with them, what kind of a difference would that make to the family atmosphere? Right? So I was sharing this recently with a friend of mine, and she said, that's amazing. That's exactly, I went for a workshop, and that's exactly what we did there, with one addition. I said, what's the addition? When someone is sharing, and anyone else in the group can relate to what they're saying, you just put your hand up. And she said, as I was sharing, and people were putting their hand up once in a while, I said, oh, I'm not the only one. And there's something about human beings, I don't know, kind of sadistic perhaps, that when we feel that other people are also suffering with us, then I'm not so bad. So one of the biggest healing aspects, we have something called support groups. For example, alcoholics will get together and they'll share about how difficult their life is being alcoholics. And the other person says, that's nothing, let me tell you my story. And the other one, but even I've had the same story. Even I've stolen money from my family to go and buy my alcohol, or whatever it is, and they're so ashamed of it. But when they share it, and other people say, well, I've also had that, there's a great relaxation that happens. You start realizing it's not personal. What you thought is so personal is not actually so personal. There's a workshop that happened in the US. I was reading about this workshop facilitator. It's a 7-day workshop. And on day 3, the facilitator suddenly announces, okay, for the next 2 hours, we're going to be sharing secrets. Everyone gets tense. You don't have to, he says, but if you want to, you can. And I'm going to go first. And then he goes ahead and shares something that's a secret, something that he has not really revealed to too many other people in his life. And when he finishes, he says, can anyone relate to what I said? And of course, no matter what you share, a few people will raise their hand. And then somebody else gets the courage and they also share. And you know, whenever someone has the courage to share, it suddenly creates a permission in the room. Wow, these people are really honest. These people are really sharing it. They're sharing real stuff. The atmosphere goes from being this mask of being, oh, we're spiritual people, to being very real. In fact, one of my friends, we had a meditation group and she used to come for that. And she said, the meditation group is fine, but I like Alcoholics Anonymous because people are so real over there. Sometimes in these satsangs and all, we put on our spiritual mask. And in the satsang, we're also goody-goody. The moment we go out, we shout at our driver, "Kahan de?" Itni der se wait kar rahe hain, right? All the spirituality has gone out of the window. So she said, it's really important for us to be authentic, to be honest, to be true. So this is one of the ways we practice compassion with ourselves and compassion with others. We give them permission to be themselves instead of some image of who they're supposed to be. And what a great relief that is. So I've been vegan for 12 plus years. But one of the things that I have practiced is what I call agenda-lessness. While I really believe that living a life that does not hurt and harm others is really, really important for me, for the planet, for everyone. I have never had the desire to go and catch people and shake them up and convert them. That's not me. For some people, that's who they are. But for me, that's not who I am. For me, it's about an invitation. And because I travel all over the world and I often am meeting people, and they see that I'm not eating what they're eating. What are you eating? I'm eating vegan food. What's vegan food? And I tell them about it. Why are you eating vegan food? Leads to a conversation. And I share how it's helped me physically, in my physical health, how it's helped me. How it's helped me in my sense of values, that I'm living my values. I don't want to hurt living beings. I like animals, not only dogs and cats. I like all animals. All animals are my friends. So why would I want to pay someone every meal to hurt someone? So that is me practicing my understanding of love and compassion. At the same time, what I found is by not trying to push my agenda, those who have to be transformed get transformed. Right? So I am me and I allow you to be you. And we can't really know. This is one thing I've learned in my spiritual journey. The moment you have a conviction about something, that I'm absolutely sure about something, some part of the truth is lost. Because you made up your mind, in other words. When you made up your mind is shut down at some level. I used to have a very strong opinion about guns. I said, guns is just one of the worst things, It leads to so much of violence. And I went to the US, I went to Florida. And my friend told me about these new AR-15s and these like semi-automatic guns that he's bought. He's showing them to me. And I'm like, I don't believe in this stuff. He says, sit down, let me tell you why I got them. It's all right. So he lives in Florida. And in Florida, almost every year, there are hurricanes. You might have seen on the news, there are big hurricane systems that pass through Florida. And like many countries now in the US, we completely depend on the supermarket to have everything, right? So who keeps water and who keeps groceries for more than a few days? You're going to just go and get it. But when the systems break down, then research has found after 4 days of no groceries, and your kid is crying, and there's no proper water, and there's no proper groceries, and there's no power, neighbors start breaking into each other's houses. This research has found this. If for 4 days your child is crying, then you say, all right, I'm going to go check what my neighbor has. And not gently tap it, do you have something? To go there with the intention of taking it. He said, we live in Florida, and while I've got reserves, right, the reality is that anytime a hurricane will strike, and so it opened my mind. I mean, I had always judged people who had guns. But it opened my mind to, okay, maybe it's valid. For this person in this situation, maybe it's valid. So for me, that's also an element of compassion. Getting out of our own little favorite story and understanding the story of another person, another being. And to me, this is far more facilitating of transformation and a change of heart than anything else. A willingness to see the world through the eyes of another. This also expands our wisdom. There's a nice teaching of wisdom and knowledge. So knowledge is a point of view. So, Drishtikon, yahan pe aap baithe hain, from where you're seeing me, that's your point of view. But if I suddenly clap my hands, everyone get up, take your seat. If I did that, you'd have a different point of view. And if you kept doing that, then you'd start getting what's called a viewing point. Oh, there are many ways to look at this room, not only the way that I'm looking at it. You lie down on the ground, look at it from an ant's perspective. That looks very different. We could hang you up on the pole. That would look very different. It always looks different, right? So the ability to get out of your point of view and to have a viewing point, this is wisdom. This is our capacity to grow. So I'm going to read out a little story now from one of my teachers, Ajahn Brahmavamso. And he got a perspective from a very different position. He's a monk, he's a Buddhist monk. And he goes once in a while to teach meditation in prisons. And this is an incident that happened when he went to the prison and he met some very violent criminals. So let's hear from Ajahn Brahmavamsa. So he says, I arrived early to lead my meditation class in a low security prison. A criminal whom I had never seen before was waiting to speak to me. He was a giant of a man with bushy hair and beard and tattooed arms. His scars on his face told me that he'd been in many a violent fight. He looked so fearsome that I wondered why he was even coming to learn meditation. He wasn't the type. I was wrong, of course. He told me that something had happened a few days before that had spooked him completely. As he started speaking, I picked up his thick Ulster accent. To give me some background, he told me that he had grown up in the violent streets of Belfast. His first stabbing was when he was 7 years old. The school bully had demanded the money that he had for his lunch. He said no. The older boy took out a long knife and asked for the money a second time. He thought the bully was bluffing. He said no. The bully never even asked the third time. He just plunged the knife into the 7-year-old boy's arm, drew it out, and walked away. He told me that he ran in shock from the schoolyard with blood streaming down his arm to his father's house nearby. His unemployed father took one look at the wound, took his son into the kitchen, but not to dress the wound. The father opened the drawer, took out a big kitchen knife, gave it to his son, and told him, go back to school and stab that boy back. That is how he had been brought up. If he hadn't grown so big and strong, he might have been dead a long time back. The jail was a prison farm where short-term prisoners or long-term prisoners close to release could be prepared for life outside. Some by learning a trade in the farming industry. Furthermore, the produce from the prison farm would supply all the prisons around Perth with inexpensive food, thus keeping down costs. Australian farms grow sheep, cows, pigs, not just wheat and vegetables, and so did this prison farm. But unlike other farms, the prison farm had its own slaughterhouse on site. Every prisoner had to have a job on the farm, and I was informed by the inmates that the most sought-after jobs were in the slaughterhouse. These jobs were particularly popular with the violent offenders. And the most sought-after job of all, which you had to fight for, was the job of the slaughterer himself. And this giant of a man was that slaughterer. He described the slaughterhouse to me. Super strong stainless steel railings, wide at the openings, narrowing down to a single channel inside the building, just wide enough for one animal to pass through at a time. Next to that narrow channel, raised on a platform, he would stand with an electric gun. Cows, pigs would be forced into the stainless steel funnel using dogs and cattle prods. He said they would always scream, each in their own way, and try to escape. They could smell death, they could hear death, they could feel death. When an animal was alongside his platform, it would be writhing and wriggling and moaning in full voice. And even though his gun could kill a large bull with a single high voltage charge, the animal would never stand still long enough for him to aim properly. So it was always one shot to stun, next shot to kill. One shot to stun, next shot to kill. Animal after animal, day after day. The Irishman started to become excited as he moved to the occurrence only a few days before. That had unsettled him so much, he started to swear. In what followed, he kept repeating, "This is God's effing truth. This is God's effing truth." He was afraid that I wouldn't believe him. That day, they needed beef for the prisons around Perth. They were slaughtering cows. One shot to stun, next shot to kill. He was well into the normal day's killing when a cow came up that he had never seen before. This cow was silent. There wasn't even a whimper. Its head was down as it walked purposely, voluntarily, slowly into position next to the platform. It did not writhe or wriggle or try to escape. Once in position, the cow lifted her head and stared at her executioner, absolutely still. The Irishman had never seen anything even close to this before. His mind went numb with confusion. He couldn't lift his gun, nor could he take his eyes away from the eyes of the cow. The cow was looking right inside of him. He slipped into a timeless space. He couldn't tell me how long it took, but as the cow held him in eye contact, he noticed something that shook him even more. Cows have very big eyes. Have you ever seen cows' eyes? Cows have very big eyes. He saw in the left eye of the cow, above the lower eyelid, water began to gather. The amount of water grew and grew until it was too much for the eyelid to hold. It began to trickle slowly down all the way her cheek, forming a glistening line of tears. Long closed doors were opening slowly in this man's heart. As he looked in disbelief, he saw in the right eye of the cow, above the lower eyelid, more water gathering, growing by the moment until it too was more than the eyelid could contain. A second stream of water trickled down slowly down her face, and this man broke down. The cow was crying. He told me that he threw down his gun, swore to the full extent of his considerable capacity to the prison guard that they could do whatever they liked to him, but that cow ain't dying. He ended by telling me that he was a vegetarian now. This story is true. Other inmates of the prison farm confirmed it to me. The cow that cried taught one of the most violent of men what it means to care. So this is a story narrated by my teacher Ajahn Brahmavamso about how even people who we think are, this man has got no heart, this man got nothing in him. But a cow, nameless cow, in a matter of minutes opened his heart. Let's not dismiss anyone in our life. There are people and then there are behaviors. And people are not equal to behaviors. Like in your life, I'm sure you've had many skillful behaviors, many unskillful behaviors. I'm sure you've been very generous in your life. And I'm sure sometimes, even though you said, I don't want to give. I'm sure you've done that. I'm sure I've done that. I've done so many times. Right. So there have been times you've been caring and compassionate. There have been times you've been really hard and really cruel. But that does not define us. It does not define us. Just like a program does not define the laptop or the computer. Programs come and go. So the aim is, can we have, just like in our phones, we want to install the latest operating system, the latest apps. We want to upgrade the system so that we have a really nice, smooth, beautiful experience of our phone. In the same way, here's this human body. And the programs here are thoughts. And the quality of your thoughts are the quality of your life. So as we upgrade the quality of these thoughts, we upgrade the quality of our life. So I'm going to give you 5 things that I share in almost all my talks, which you can apply on a day-to-day basis to have more compassion and more peace and more happiness in your life. The first one of raising the quality of your thoughts is called the lotus of gratitude. So I want you to empty your hands. Put your 10 fingertips together. And these are like 2 lotus buds. Right? I want you to think of 10 things you're thankful for. And I want to challenge you to think of as many things you haven't thought about in a long time as possible. So different things, new things, not just the usual, of course, my family is good, my dog is good, my job is good. Think of some new things. All right, close your eyes. And every time you think of something, open 1 lotus petal. And like this, you will slowly open all the 10 petals. Close your eyes, everyone. And start thinking of what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for. And really feel it each time. And inwardly feel that thankfulness. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Go slow, there's no rush. Breath by breath, moment by moment. So thankful. And one by one, the lotus petals are opening. Beautiful lotus petal is opening. Whenever you're done, some people are already done, you bring your hands on your heart. The rest of you take your time, go slow. Bring both your hands on your heart if you're done, and just feel grateful. Feel thankful. You take another 20 seconds. And really feeling grateful. And whatever you've done is good. Bring both your hands on your heart. And just feel that lotus fragrance of gratitude filling your heart, filling your whole body. And you are like, you don't live in Bombay anymore. You live in this lotus of gratitude. You're surrounded by the energy of gratitude. And you're even grateful to gratitude. You'll all take a deep breath. And repeat after me. I'm so grateful I'm so thankful. Life is wonderful. And you can slowly open your eyes. Let's say again, how wonderful. Very beautiful, very simple practice. And I would love for you to start your day with this practice. Instead of starting your day with all the things that haven't gotten done, all the problems in my life, all the unfinished business in my life, instead of starting the day with a complaint, start the day with gratitude. This is one discipline. And my challenge to you is think of as many new things as possible. Otherwise, it becomes like a very monotonous thing. Think of new things, think of simple things. This morning, I was thinking something new that came to me is I'm grateful to the genes I got from my ancestors. I've never even thought of that before. But I'm grateful my ancestors must have lived healthy lives, which is why I'm in relatively good health. So all my ancestors, thank you for giving me good genes that I can have a comfortable and happy life. Something different, something I hadn't thought of before. So like this, challenge yourself to think of new things, and build that muscle of gratitude. What will happen is, wherever you go in life, where everybody else is complaining, you'll find something to be grateful about. So please say this with me. I never complain about my life because someone somewhere dreams of a life just like mine. Is that true? So true. So the first practice we've learned is gratitude. The second very good practice, and we've already been doing it. Whenever anything happens in your life, just say with me, how wonderful. So try this today, right? Like for example, there's some nice food stall, you've got very good food over there. Okay, you go there, oh, but there's a long line. How wonderful. People are enjoying themselves. How good it is. How rare it is to find a long line outside a vegan stall. So great, very happy. And people's minds are changing, right? Someone was saying, oh, Nitya, where have we come? You know, it's so hot over here. I don't think I can stay for very long. How wonderful. Most of us are deprived of sunlight, at least one day in the year. And do you know, I was traveling on a flight, and the doctor next to me said, Nitya, one of the reasons people get so sick nowadays is they go through the entire summer without sweating even once. Body was never designed to go through an entire summer without sweating even once. Your toxins are released when you sweat. So how wonderful I'm sweating today. Right? And how wonderful we put deodorant so nobody notices. So like this, how wonderful your life becomes wonderful. So make it a practice to say how wonderful. In the beginning, you may feel like you're faking it. Arey, but I'm just fooling myself. You're fooling yourself anyway. Any thought you think, you believe it's too hot, that's also you're fooling yourself. Right? You could be grateful, I'm out in the open, getting fresh air, meeting wonderful people. That is also true. So like this, what you focus on expands. So second powerful principle we've learned today is how wonderful. Third principle, it's called the 3 gates of speech. So please say with me, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? So all of today practices, when you're about to speak, check, is it true? If it's true, the gate opens. If it's not true, the gate is closed. What's the second gate? Is it kind? Just because it's true doesn't mean you should say it. I was doing a program for children, and they say, I have a problem with my parents. They give all kinds of advice, but I tell them, I can't hear what you're saying. Because who you are is too loud. I can't hear what you're saying. They're saying all good things, but the way they're saying it, with anger and judgment and, like, I know what's better for you, the children can't hear it. I can't hear what you're saying because who you are is too loud. So are you coming from a place of kindness? So I also invite the vegans here. Be kind to the non-vegans that you encounter. Be kind. Right? One day, there was a time perhaps when even you were a non-vegan. So meet them with kindness, meet them with love and enthusiasm, and support them through that. And what's the third gate? Is it even necessary? Not everything has to be said. And you'll notice the days you speak less, you have a lot more energy. The days you keep on talking, you deplete your energy. The days you keep thinking, you deplete your energy. So is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If you do this, your speech becomes very beautiful. And you cannot practice the 3 gates of speech without applying them to your thinking. So it actually starts inside of you. It starts at your thinking level. Right. The next thing I want to share with you is something called Mayurma. And Mayurma, do it when you're still seated. Empty your hands again. And raise your hands up like I'm doing. One palm up here. Make a line down 8 degrees. Second is bigger. And third is huge. And say with me, Mayurma. Now what we just did was we invited pure love and we multiplied the love by infinity 3 times and we sent it out to everyone. I'd love for you to start your day by making 3 Mayurmas, one for yourself, one for your family members, and one for the whole world. So now practice again, take your hands up. Multiply by infinity. What is even bigger? Say with me. Mayur. People say, what is Mayurma? Mayurma just means loving wishes for all, good wishes for all. Right. And at least one person always says Manorma. I said, no, it's not Manorma. It's Mayurma. It's good wishes for all. Right. So like there's 3 Mayurmas. And one of my friends says, Nitya, I've invented a new Mayurma. What's a new Mayurma? It's called Mini Mayurma. So please try this. Take 2 fingers. Bring it down. Make a cute heart. And multiply by infinity 3 times. Mayurma. So when your son or daughter or husband or wife is upset, then below the table make a little mini Mayur. And send loving wishes. And the 5th thing, which I've already taught to you, is Tonglen. We've learned Tonglen. Tonglen is the practice of I breathe in all the pain and I breathe out complete relief. So that's been our session today. We began by practicing Tonglen, the practice of compassion, and we heard a story about a friend of mine who really applied this for a very difficult situation for a friend of hers who got cancer. And instead of feeling helpless and feeling so torn by it, she got something practical she could do about it. She could shift the energy of that space. And we've also learned, do you like the story of the cow that cried? And how touching that story? Did it touch your heart? So then my intention was met today. My intention was to touch your heart. It got met. And like this, you realize that other beings are also like us. If you see a cow, and when we drink milk, we don't realize the calf is separated from the mother. And how the mother cries. Go to a village sometime and see how a mother cries and that calf is separate. All night it cries. The calf also cries. These are fascination for milk so much that we have to separate a mother from its child. So when you one time you go to a village, you hear that mother crying, your entire perception of ice cream and pizza and cheese, it completely changes because compassion comes. Your understanding of what's going on happens. It'll happen in its own time, you can't force this. We also learned a beautiful practice called How Wonderful. So today you'll practice this. If you meet me anywhere, say how wonderful, then I know you came for my session. How wonderful. What else did we learn today? Lotus of gratitude, yes. Lotus of gratitude, 10 things we're thankful for. And a Mayurma and also mini Mayurma. Right? And being thankful for everything. So this was our lessons for today. Is it true? We also learned that. Is it true? Is it kind? And is it even necessary? So that may be already too much for you. So remember any one of those 5 things if you can. And practice those 5 things. Any one of those 5 things. This is going to really support you in your life. Let's end with a moment of silence. Tune in. Bring your attention to your heart. And just send loving wishes to everyone in this hall here, in this tent here. Loving wishes to everyone here. May they all have a happy, peaceful day. And everyone in this entire Ahimsa festival, everyone who's come voluntarily or they've been dragged here involuntarily, loving wishes to all of them. And loving wishes to all beings, human beings and non-human beings. May we all coexist in harmony. May our life reduce the pain and suffering of others, not add to the pain and suffering of others. With that beautiful intention, let's all take a deep breath. Let's say loudly, how wonderful. All right, thank you everybody. It's been a joy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to Mr. Nitya Shanti. We would like to felicitate him with a small token of appreciation. That's for you. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please, for him coming here on a Sunday for all you wonderful people. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody. We shall soon begin with our next session, exactly at 12:15. If anyone wants a quick break, quick breather,